Well, he's saying, well, all healing work is balancing work. It is all part of the art of integration. It really just depends on what you want to focus on. He's saying, though, to heal the father wound, you really need to take time to get to know your father. And when he says get to know, he means develop empathy, compassion for your parents, the qualities, the gifts that they offered you, the lessons that you learned. Because your inner father is always going to be a representation of the father you carry within. The archetype of the father you carry within is always going to be a representation of the archetype of the father that you grew up with or lived with, or the person that you lived with, and the father that you had. So you can start by reflecting on any like woundings, uh, issues of respect or disconnection in feeling a heart, feeling like anywhere you feel like a sense of separation or lack of love or like resentment. So forgiveness is big when it comes to healing the father wound, any parent related wound, any wound in general, but the wounds we have with our father and mother are really traumatic for a lot of us, are the big ones to really clear. So work on forgiveness, setting like conditions or more boundaries in the way you take in or accept. Conditions of acceptance is what he's saying, and I'm not sure what he means by that fully, so I want to make sure I'm interpreting this right. Conditions of acceptance, he's linking it into boundaries, like what you will and will not give, what you will and will not accept energetically, what you receive from others, links into like people pleasing sometimes. Like sometimes we, and he's using the word overachievers. Sometimes we inherit or develop the tendency to overachieve or overprove ourselves to the world, like look at me, I'm really this, I'm really that, because we're trying to impress our father or a mother. It could be interchangeable at this point. um, but the pressure to perform, the pressure to overachieve. So there might be a sense of that that might be wanting to be looked at within your own relationship. So just in general, he's saying to heal the father wound, like think of the conditions of the father that were put on you from the father, the conditional love. Like what conditions did you have to meet? What expectations did your father have for you to have to meet these specific conditions in order to receive love, either of your parents? What conditional responses did you learn, like to abide by or go along with in order to, yeah, what conditioned responses did you learn in order to please your parents, to receive their love, to feel their love? Those are the conditions that you're actively attempting to meet within yourself to receive love from others. That goes for love relationships and platonic relationships, working relationships, your peers. Um, how are you conditioned to please others? That's the focus of the attention on healing those wounds, and also being forgiving and empathetic to and compassionate towards your parents for their maybe limiting views and values that may be different from yours, and how they did the best they could um, to teach you specific soul lessons, even in their imperfect nature. They are divine in what they are teaching you. Sometimes it's the opposite of what you wanted to experience, but that's because it made you stronger in some way. So there's always a quality or a gift in each relationship that we have, even the ones that are the most torturous, he's saying. And so learning to look at the clues of the gifts, he's calling it solar power, that come from the initiations, that come from the experiences we have with other providers or souls, he's saying, that chose to play a certain role in our life so that we could have specific life lessons and soul experiences, learning to kind of zoom out and see them from a loving soul, higher soul perspective, and interact with them from that place, seeing the divine in all, is going to help to heal and rebalance that wound, but also energetically that transfers into your divine masculine. You're healing your divine masculine, and that essentially will balance your divine masculine energy, because you'll feel more safe being in your authority, being in your power. And being a people pleaser is not being in your power, is what he's saying, because you're going to feel more comfortable setting firmer energetic boundaries. And he's not talking about being like a mean about it, but just being authoritative about it, just firm in your own convictions of what you will and will not accept of the treatment from others in general. So that's what he's saying, being firm in your boundaries, and that's how it's going to help you heal or balance your divine masculine. And your divine masculine will show up as more of a protector energy and a force for helping you to see more clearly the ways that you're out of balance, meaning you're giving too much. You're too much in your divine feminine, or not in your divine feminine. Well, maybe from a nurturing point of view, that could be true. But just where you're giving too much and you're not receiving enough, or you're holding back your love because you don't feel safe to give it and freely express it. So all of these things are like attunement processes that come with each healing. Each healing you do is an activation for the higher heart, an activation to come more in alignment with source, and the freedom to be more authentically yourself without the pressure to act in ways that are not in alignment with your higher self.